Right now it looks to you like this is a pretty traditional choral concert. Some of you have come to lots of concerts in this space, and I'm just presuming that all of you are choral aficionados. But actually, this is not at all a typical concert. For one thing, I'm your MC for the evening. Oh dear. And for another, you're going to hear a wide variety of music, most of which will not be performed by the choral solo forces. Just want to kind of clue you in on why this is such an important evening. So it's not a typical choral concert, and you also know that it's a fundraiser. We're in the process of raising $375,000. If we met our goal for this concert, we'd still be about $8,000 off. You notice I have a lot of courage to say that in front of the president of Drake University, that I don't know where I'm getting that last $8,000. So if any of you have any ideas about money trees, do let me know. Thank you very much. I always think that the benefit concert is really important, though, beyond the fundraising aspect, because it begins to make the tour more real for our students. I've been working on this tour for about 3 years. We've been talking about it kind of actively with the choir for about 2 years. And, you know, it's only a couple of months away. One student said to me this afternoon, "Do you know that the tour is only 3 months away?" Yes, I'm aware of that. But it doesn't have an air of reality for us at all in the day-to-dayness of life. And so when we say we're doing this benefit concert for this trip, this tour that we are going to take in 3 months, and you all show up, it suddenly makes it more real for us. So your presence here is really important to us in knowing that we have your support, in knowing that you care, that we do this sort of thing, and that tour is going to be life-changing for our students. So we're really grateful to have such a large and enthusiastic audience this evening. Thank you so much for that. The third reason why this evening is really special is because we have about 135 Drake Choir alumni who have joined us this evening. A few years ago, we started touring in 1992, and so we've done a Drake Choir tour every 4 years. In 2002, we added a chamber choir tour every 4 years on a 2-year offset. So there are a number of students in our choral program who have 2 international tours in 4 years. No competitor school can match that, by the way. That means that we've undertaken now 11 tours. And so I decided after we'd been doing this a little while that it would make sense to invite our alumni back to campus to rehearse with us, to have conversations with current students. There's so much that can be learned by both of those constituencies in sharing some time with one another. And then that would culminate in the performance of 2 pieces which have been on every Drake Choir International tour since 1992. Those are the last 2 pieces on the program, and we'll talk more about them later. So our alumni joined us this afternoon, and we've rehearsed and we're ready to put a huge number of singers together. One of the alums said to me this afternoon, "Are we going to be as big as the Mormon Tabernacle Choir?" And we practically are, with 135 alums and 70 members in the current Drake Choir. It's a sort of big number, and we're just astonished. The last time we did one of these reunions, we had 70 alums. And so this is a substantially larger number. They've come from all over the country, and we've had kind of a love feast here this afternoon in Sheslow, sharing music and sharing thoughts with one another. So I think that'll be a very special part of the program. The first piece we did was called The Sounding Sea. My programming for this concert has been prompted by some thoughts about our alumni. The Sounding Sea is actually a piece that we did a few years ago, and there are people in the audience who sang that, so I hope that they were satisfied with the rendition of that piece we just gave. But probably more importantly is that the composer of that piece, Eric Barnum, who is very well known nationally in choral circles, was actually on this campus just a couple of weeks ago. In the first week of school, we brought Eric to campus, and he spent an afternoon rehearsing with the Drake Choir and also with the chamber choir, who's doing a piece by him, though not on this program. Those kinds of opportunities are, they happen often, shall we say, here at Drake, and the opportunity to work with the creator of something that you value is a really great deal. That's a great segue to the next piece. The next piece is called Goodnight Love, and half the time I say Goodnight Moon, but the reason I do is because that really is the flavor of the piece. It was written by one of our alums. Her name is Elaine McDonald Hagenberg, and she's going to conduct the piece this evening. Elaine was a music education major. She's from Eldora, Iowa, and she kind of dabbled around, I think, a little bit in arranging and such when she was a Drake student, but her compositional career has really taken off. She has her own choral series with Hinshaw Publications, which is a major choral publishing house. She just got back today from the North Central American Choral Directors Association conference, and she was commissioned to write a piece for one of the choirs that performed there, and so she heard her piece being premiered in front of the toughest audience you'll ever know, the ACDA Choral Geeks, and it went very, very well. So we're extremely proud of Elaine. She came to work with our students on this piece in the fall. They've fallen in love with the piece, and they've also fallen in love with Elaine. She's a remarkable human being. She's the mother of 4 children. I think she really has a lot to teach us about work-life balance and about important values about life. It's just a really proud moment for us to be able to sing her piece under the conduction of the composers. So Elaine Hagenberg and the Drake Choir, Good Night, Love.
Good
special gift. We'll sing that piece all during our regional tour to Minnesota in 2 weeks, and we'll sing it throughout Latvia, Estonia, and Finland. Many, many thousands of people will love your work. Thanks. I appreciate it. The last piece that Drake Choir is going to sing also has an alumni connection. Alumni will be astonished at what you're about to see. You will think, has ABC lost her mind? Well, some of you know that happened a long time ago, actually. The next piece is called Nyan Yan. It's by a young, when I was typing the program, I thought, oh my gosh, all these people whose works we're doing are so young. I felt more affinity with Bruckner, who was born in the 19th century. At any rate, Jake Runestad is a young composer whose works are very much sought after and performed by choirs all over our country. And this piece has kind of taken on a life of its own. Jake was trying to explore the colors and the possibilities, the sonic possibilities of the human voice. You know, sometimes people think, well, orchestras are really where it's at because there's so much variation in color, but those of us whose instrument is their body think that the sound of voices singing together is very colorful. And so Jake has tried to explore this in a lot and exploit it actually in a variety of ways. He suggests that there be some movement to the piece. So in the fall, one of our alums, whose name is Napoleon Douglas, who graduated 2 years ago, he was a musical theater major in the Drake Choir for 4 years, an amazing young man, happened to be in town for a little while between gigs. He is working and paying the bills as an actor. And he was in town for a couple of weeks, and it just happened to be at the time that we were learning this piece, and I said, Napoleon, would you mind coming and just giving us a little choralography? We're not gonna have much time to learn this, so just something really simple. That's not what he gave us, right? He came the first day, and I thought, oh my land, what are we gonna do? I can't tell him I don't want this, but we really don't have time to learn this. So what are you gonna do? You just learn it. So he gave us amazing choreography that is absolutely organically connected with the music. My only sadness is that Napoleon isn't able to be with us. He had planned to come, but his agent called and said, I've got a great gig for you, you simply can't turn it down, and so he's doing that gig these next couple of weeks and sent a very lovely note, which I will share with you at some point when we have a minute in rehearsal, to send his love and to say that he'll be singing O Siusti and Shenandoah in spirit tonight with all the alums. So this is Nyan Yan by Jake Runestad, as sung by the Drake Choir and choreographed by one Napoleon Douglas. Here we go. The Drake choir members sitting closest to me in the front row turned to me and said, I have no frame of reference for processing that. And I said, yes, and the first time they ever sang it, they sang Handel on the same program. This is very important. Our students need to be able to make a lot of different kinds of sounds and sing a wide variety of music so they understand stylistic requirements of a range of music from Renaissance all the way to composed yesterday. You might notice that we've got camera people around here, and this is not typical for anything that takes place in Sheslow. And I would want to acknowledge the tremendous gift of this. There are 4 production members here from a production company in the Twin Cities, which is headed by Nathaniel Damron. Nathaniel is the husband of one of our alums. Erin McCarville Damron graduated from Drake in 1992. She was a biology major and also pursued music. She was a violinist and sang in the Drake choir. She went on to attend medical school at the University of Minnesota. She is doubly boarded in pediatrics and internal medicine. And she and Nathaniel have 2 darling boys who are here tonight. Erin had been talking for a long time about, gosh, I'd like Nathaniel to do something for the choral program. And so a couple of months ago, she sent me an email and she said, you know, I think we could do something about the benefit concert in Reunion. And little did I have any sort of vision of what that would mean. These men came yesterday and have been working constantly since then, and all of their labor and the live streaming that they are doing, which has never happened at Drake, at least on the fine arts end. We're on the cutting edge in so many ways at Drake, but we're not on the cutting edge in terms of live streaming our concerts like lots of other universities are. So they've given us a great gift to do this, and I really want to acknowledge that. Aaron, would you stand up so we can thank you? And Nathaniel's in the back doing work, so we'll thank Aaron. Would you stand up, please? First solo performer is Jill Morgan. She's a junior, she's from the Twin Cities, she's a vocal performance major, she serves on the Student Music Advisory Committee, works in the music office. What doesn't she do? Oh, well, maybe sleep. She's going to sing a Rodgers and Hart tune that probably almost none of you know, and it's from a show that almost none of you know. She'll be accompanied by Francine Griffith, who is one of our fabulous staff accompanists. Please welcome them. You'll see a lot of those guys tonight. They're very busy. Go on the stage? Do I have to? I guess he doesn't know that I usually tell people what to do. If you've got a camera, I'll do whatever you say. Our next act, and maybe I should explain about how the students got on stage tonight, since I'm currently on it. I heard about 24 different auditions right as the semester ended from various individual students and small groups who wanted the opportunity to perform this evening. And I chose only 7. For other benefit concerts, I've chosen 10 or 12, but given the fact that we have our alumni here and some extra music to do, I thought I should cut it down. So the stakes were really high. See, these are all students who created what they wanted to do by themselves and prepared it in that way. And I wanted to have a real variety of music, a variety of ages and majors going across the stage. The next piece that you're going to hear is a sextet from Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart's opera Così fan tutte, and it's going to feature a number of our fabulous singers. Katie Carr is a sophomore. She's a music business major from Downers Grove, and Gabby Clutter is from Indianola. She's a sophomore vocal performance major. Sean Galligan is a senior from West Des Moines. We should just say a little bit more about Sean, perhaps, because he's just finished a series of interviews at some of the most impressive graduate programs for vocal performance in the country. He's been offered a full scholarship to the Shepherd School of Music at Rice University. People turn down Juilliard to go to Rice, and about 4 people get chosen every year. And Sean was just offered a full ride to that. He'll be interviewing Juilliard. Angela Gust is a junior vocal performance major from West Des Moines. Sam Hagan is from the Twin Cities area and is a junior music education major. Sam Nolte is from Atchison, Kansas, and he is a junior double major in vocal performance and also BFA acting. And they will be accompanied by Amanda Jones, another of our really outstanding staff accompanists. Before they come on to sing, Katie Carr is going to just situate you in the opera. So she'll give you about 3 sentences so that you understand kind of what's going on in the opera and what's going on in this scene. Wow, you clean up nicely. I got the same blingy idea here.
Okay, so one of the main plot lines in the opera is that there are 2 sisters whose husbands are trying to find out if their wives would be willing to cheat on them. So this scene is going to consist of Despina and her friend Don Alfonso disguising the 2 husbands, trying to hit on their own wives to see if they would cheat on their husbands with their own husbands. And the sisters aren't pleased about it. Very not pleased about it. So that's it.
Alla bella
Waller is here to sing a concert aria by Franz Liszt. You probably think of Liszt as a piano composer, but he wrote a fair amount of vocal music and even some choral music, I'm happy to say. Molly is a sophomore. She's from West Des Moines, and she is also a music major. And Amanda Jones, who just was a whole orchestra for the Mozart, will come back in another very demanding role. Welcome them, please. Doing my part. We'll close the first half of the concert with vocal chords, and I need to tell you a little bit about the history of this ensemble. Drake University certainly believes in student entrepreneurship, and that's manifested in many ways across all departments at Drake. But one of the ways we see that is within the choral program with student-run organizations, and Vocal Chords is one of 2 such organizations. A variety of male a cappella ensembles started as a result of guys getting together and thinking, gee, we'd like to be on the benefit concert, and so let's put something together. And that's how Vocal Chords started as well. A bunch of guys who wanted to audition for an earlier version of this particular concert. And they auditioned, and they were quite good. And I put them on that concert, and people really liked them. And they kept singing and singing. And what made them different from earlier iterations of male a cappella ensembles such as Fat Rats, we have some alums of that group here, and Pig Six, we've got some guys from that group here tonight as well. But what made Vocal Chords different is that the founding members, almost all of whom are here tonight among our alums, kept talking about sustainability. They wanted to be able, they wanted Vocal Chords to sustain itself longer than their 4 years at Drake. That really impressed me, that they wanted to build something that would outlast them. To tell you the truth, students often don't think much about that. They're very concerned about the next hour and the next day. But these guys were concerned about the future, and they built the organization to last. So they did their own auditions, and they made sure that every year they were adding new people, so there would always be an infusion of new talent. They did their own arrangements, and they still do. They run their own rehearsals. They do their own contracting for gigs, and they do a lot of gigs around town and beyond around town. And we always feature them on our regional tours and our international tours. It's really impressive to me that they make time in their busy schedules to do this, and that they represent so many parts of our program. One of the things you should know is that we have almost 150 music majors here at Drake, but we have over 500 students in our bands, choruses, and orchestras. We take the liberal arts very seriously in that regard in our department, and we are very proud of the fact that we have so many non-music majors who are involved in our programs. The Vocal Chords this evening number Lucky 13. Trevor Bridge is an amazing student. He's pursuing both the pharmacy doctorate and simultaneously an MBA. Brandon Boltz is also a pharmacy major, and you might be interested in knowing that beyond music majors in our ensembles, the next largest number of students represent the sciences and specifically pharmacy, one of our most difficult majors. But we have a huge number of students from the sciences, and particularly from pharmacy. They just want to use the other side of their brains, I think. Adam Dooley is a junior. He's a musical theater major. Dustin Eubanks is a sophomore, and he's an international relations major. Hank Fisher is from Idaho, and he is also a theater major. Colin Lowenke, who is, along with Brandon Boltz, is one of our stage crew guys, is a sophomore in the College of Business and Public Administration. Seth Hammond is a sophomore, and he's a music education major. Christian Hayden is a junior. I don't know whether this means he came to the light side or the dark side. He was a percussion performance major until this semester, and now he's a choral music education major as the advisor for all choral emphasis music education majors. I'm kind of happy about that. Nathan Jacobson is a junior, and he is majoring in religion, just got back from a semester in Indonesia. Rob Jedlicka is the choir president this year. He's a pharmacy major. Kate Martin is a first-year student, and he's a theater major. Ben White is also in the College of Business and Public Administration, and he is a sophomore. And Trevor Wiley is a first-year student, and he is a music education major. Won't you welcome Vocal Chords doing a Billy Joel thing. welcome to the second half. I'm hopeful that there's something for everyone on this concert. When you go from Liszt and Mozart to Billy Joel and Lake Street Dive, it's a pretty diverse set of repertoire. And that's what we're going to hear next. Molly Brandt is the entrepreneur who put this next group together. You'll hear Molly sing and play the piano, and she is a junior from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. She is a music business major, and she's one of our most involved students in the community. She's very involved with the Des Moines Social Club, which is providing amazing opportunities for our students in terms of internships, etc. She's worked with Des Moines Music Coalition. She's down at Woolies a lot. She really knows what's going on in the local live music scene. I think she has a bright future ahead of her in the business of music business. She's going to be joined on vocals by Jessica Richter. Jessica and her sister Allison are twins in the Drake Choir. Jessica is a music major and she is a junior. Sam Hagen you heard as one of the singers in the Mozart, and now he's going to do a very different kind of music. We're really pleased to have 3 instrumental students join us. Ben McCartney is our very best trumpet player. He's currently doing his student teaching at Southeast Polk. Chris Walsh plays bass in Jazz 1, our amazing first jazz band. And Christian Hayden sang with vocal cords. I mentioned that he recently made the transition from being a percussion major to a choral music education major, and so he'll be featured on drums. Please welcome this ensemble.
See
Our next performer is Liszt Aria, and she's from suburban Chicago. Her teacher is an alum of Drake, and he actually has 3 of his students here, one who graduated some time ago. They took the same flight from Chicago to here to be here for the alum reunion, and then Alyssa, who's a sophomore music education major here, and another student who's a first year. So we really appreciate the fact that our alums keep supporting Drake and encouraging their own students and other people that they know to consider our university long after they graduated. This is kind of a special night for Alyssa because this is her 20th birthday. And so I feel like I should have the audience sing to you. Alyssa is going to be accompanied by the fabulous Francine Griffith. Welcome them, please.
Constant surprise.
Performing next is a group of 4 students who are best friends. They're all seniors, and the message of this song is especially meaningful to them. When I talk to seniors, I always say, you're right. Being a senior is kind of like standing on a cliff, or being in the middle of traffic. And so this song really speaks to the kinds of things that people are thinking about and feeling at major transition points in their lives. I'd like to introduce the 4 before they come on stage. Taylor Donaldson is from Urbandale, Iowa. She is the the admission fellow, which is a coveted position. There's only one student at the university who holds that position. She's been very involved with student ambassador programs, et cetera, all during the time she's been at Drake. She's a religion major, by the way, and last year studied in Morocco. She has made the last cut for the coveted Fulbright Scholarship Program, and she's also got applications in for the Peace Corps and graduate school, so the future is indeed bright for Taylor Donaldson. Singing the mezzo part is Alyssa Becker. She too is from Des Moines. She's a senior vocal performance major, has had fabulous auditions, and people really getting excited about her at such wonderful institutions of music as the Jacobs School at Indiana University. Last weekend she was at Eastman, and they were calling her on the phone immediately afterwards to say how much they liked her audition, and so she's going places as well. Our tenor is Nick Baker. Nick is a senior in the College of Business and Public Administration, and he is one of our leaders in Drake Choir and Chamber Choir, has been a resident advisor, has been very involved with the life of our campus. And on the bass part is Tommy Stern. Tommy auditioned for us as a high school senior and then made another decision. And then when he was a college first-year student, decided that he had made the wrong decision. He saw the light. And came to Drake as a sophomore. He also is a business major and has been a real mainstay of our program in both the Drake Choir and the Chamber Choir. We're very glad that he came to Drake. They are accompanied by junior piano performance major Amelia Hammond, who is also from the Des Moines area. Like breathing. I really tried to choose repertoire for this concert with alumni in mind. And the first piece we are going to sing has become really important to our students. And they probably didn't see the connection with our alumni at the beginning. But it has a very special text. The piece is called Benediction, which might make you think that it has religious implications, but it doesn't. It's simply the idea of blessing those for whom we wish well. One day I said to the students, what are benedictions that you give to people on a daily basis? How do you bless people? I thought they'd all say Gesundheit. But in fact, they said, I open the door for someone, I give someone a hug, I smile at someone. Those kinds of things. That's a good way to think about this. The piece is by Renee Clausen, very well-known choral composer and the director of the Concordia College Choir in Moorhead, Minnesota. This piece was actually commissioned by the Des Moines Vocal Arts Ensemble, and it was premiered by them last spring. To my knowledge, we've given now 1, 2, 3 performances of this piece. This is our 4th performance of the piece, and when we gave the first performance on our end of things, that was the 2nd time it had ever been heard. So we've really given the piece life, I think. Typically when we do a choral concert, we have kind of fancy programs, and they have lots of program notes, which you're getting orally from me this evening. And we always print the texts. We spend a lot of time figuring out what textual meaning is and what the sounds of texts are and all of the sorts of things that you need if you're going to sing texted music. And I want to share the text because I think it's just beautiful. The poem is by Donald Jeffrey Hayes, and it says, "Not with my hands, but with my heart I bless you. May peace forever dwell in your breast. May truth's white light possess you, and may your thoughts and words wear her bright crest. May time move down its endless path of beauty, conscious of you and better for your being. Spring after spring array itself in splendor, seeking the favor of your sentient seeing. May hills lean toward you, hills and wind-swept mountains, and trees be happy that they have seen you pass. Your eyes, dark kinsmen, to the stars above you, your feet remembered by the blades of grass." That's a special wish tonight for all of our alumni who have come from across the country to join us, and to all of you who are so supportive of the choral program here at Drake. It's a great privilege to make music this evening with 2 of my esteemed colleagues. Dr. Ashley Sedan is our professor of cello, and Mr. Clarence Padilla is not only a professor of clarinet, but he is also the department head. And I always say to Clarence, you have to stay as department head until I retire, because he's really great. And I want to acknowledge his very special leadership. Our music department is positioned well for the present and the future because of his leadership, and we are grateful. Mrs. Susan Eden. Mrs. Susan Eden accompanies both the Drake Choir and the Chamber Choir. She also accompanies ensembles in the West Des Moines schools, and she rushed back here from Sioux Falls, where the North Central Division Conference of the American Choral Directors Association is taking place. I'm the former president of the North Central Division of ACDA, and it kind of broke my heart not to be at the conference. This is the first time in my whole life that I haven't been there, but it's worth it to be here tonight. this more than $100,000 piano gets anywhere near the edge. I can see my whole retirement plan going up in smoke. You might be wondering why they're sitting on the risers. Let me tell you about this. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I guess I must have been thinking about it when I didn't know I was thinking about it, because a lot of the repertoire that we're doing seems to deal with the idea of the passage of time. Maybe that's just because I'm old now, I don't know. The passage of time, the role that memory plays, the role that music plays in both shaping memories and recalling memories, and our awareness of both continuity and change in our lives. And I think this next piece reflects that in a very special way. The piece has been written by Erich Eschenwalds. He's a very well-known composer internationally. He is from Latvia. And I'm happy to announce that our students will have the opportunity to have a whole morning clinic with him when we're in Riga, the capital of Latvia. Both the Drake Choir and the Chamber Choir are singing pieces by him as we prepare for the regional, or the international tour. I'll get it right yet. And so this was kind of an amazing thing. I sent him an email and I said, you know, we'd really love to work with you when you're in Riga. And I'm thinking, this guy's never going to answer my email. 15 minutes later, I got a response. Oh, I would be happy to do that. I would be honored to do that. So that will be an amazing experience for our students. This particular piece uses a text by Sarah Teasdale, and many of you might know her poetry, an American poet who struggled with depression all of her life, wrote very hopeful poetry, but ultimately died by her own hand when she was in her early 40s. Here she reflects and uses as a metaphor the idea of childhood and people she recalls from her childhood. Only in Sleep by Erich Eschenwalds with text by Sarah Teasdale. I'm bringing some important people to stage with me before the alumni and the Drake Choir sing our final two pieces. It's been a privilege to know the people of the Drake Choir and the whole choral program for the last 27 years. Every year there are amazing students to work with, and it's pretty easy to be excited about getting up in the morning and coming to Drake University. The four people who are behind me are representatives of some of those years. And I asked them if they'd be willing to talk to the audience very briefly about the meaning of international touring for them, the meaning of their Drake education, and especially their time in the Drake Choir. So let me introduce them in the order in which they'll speak to you. This is Jen Carlett. Jen is originally from Indianola, Iowa. She was my student assistant long ago. She was fabulous, and we've remained friends all of these years. She did a master's degree at the University of California, Berkeley, and has lived for a long time in Nashville. She's involved with urban planning and the visioning process, and she has a new job, so I have to read her title so I get it right. She is the Vice President of Metropolitan Policy for the Nashville Chamber of Commerce. Eric Lane is standing to her right. Eric is from Newton, Iowa originally. He was a music business major here and went to New York to seek his fame and fortune immediately after graduation. He lives to this day as a roommate of Thomas McCarger, one of our alums who couldn't be here tonight because he's got a series of gigs singing in Cuba. But they've been friends for a long period of time and have come back a number of times to inspire our students. Eric has recently graduated from law school in New York City. He was the editor of the Law Review. You do know what that means, don't you? And he's just joined one of the biggest firms in the world, doing a wide variety of things in the field of law. So we're grateful that he's come all the way back from New York City to be with us. Our third speaker is Kaylee Custer. Kaylee was a National Alumni Scholar when she was here at Drake, kind of a big woo. She was from Dubuque then, although her family now lives in Nebraska. And she was both a music major and an international relations major. She spent a semester in Argentina. And after graduation, she was chosen, one of only 10% of people who are chosen on an annual basis for Teach for America. We actually have 3 alums of Teach for America among the alums who are with us this evening. And her title is Founding Kindergarten Teacher. She's at a school called the KIPP Wisdom Academy, and she is working with many disadvantaged students. She was telling me tonight that in her role as the first kindergarten teacher at this new school, she said to some of her students, "Hi, what's your name?" And some kids couldn't tell her. They don't even have that level of knowledge and understanding. Now 60% of them are at grade level. That's due to her efforts. I think it's pretty impressive, making a difference on a daily basis. Our final speaker will be Corey Clausen. Corey's from Eagle Grove, Iowa originally, and he was very involved in both his major here, which was not music, but involved in musical theater as well. He went on to earn a graduate degree at the John F. Kennedy School of Government at Harvard University, and he sang in the Harvard Choral Program while he was there. He has been on Senator Tom Harkin's staff for a number of years, which is a nice connection with us since we now have the Harkin Center for Civic Engagement on our campus. Then he served for a number of years as an aide for the Senate Agricultural Committee, and he has a new job and a new title. He is the Director of Legislative Affairs at the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. So you can ask him at the reception to follow what that really means, okay? So we're gonna just pass the microphone and they'll each chat for a moment, and then I'll tell you a little bit about the last 2 pieces we're singing. While I'm thinking about the reception, I should say something about it. It is a public reception, you're all invited. It's in Levitt Hall. If you go out either door and up the stairs, we'll have lots of treats for you and a chance for us to continue this celebration. Let's see, Jen, you're first.
Thank you, so appreciate it. I did have the privilege of being in the Drake Choir from 1992 to 1996 in the chamber choir. And then for 2 years, I was Dr. Beckman Collier's choral assistant, or as I like to think of it, the power behind the throne. And so it was wonderful. And in 1996, I toured as a senior with the Drake Choir to Europe. And you know, as a senior, I really saw it as a bookend to my time at Drake and with Drake Choir. But I didn't realize how it would be kind of a daily living metaphor of what it meant to say goodbye and close out a chapter of your life and look forward to another chapter with maybe a new city. We all prayed fervently, a job, and new challenges. And there was nothing that showed that more to me or meant that to me than being in Europe and just being in this place, the grandeur of it, the cathedrals and the churches and the plazas where we sang, some that were hundreds of years old, if not over thousands of years old, the culture and the tradition and the love they have for music and songs for sorrow, songs for times of joy, songs for revolution, and to be there, it was amazing. But you have to contrast that when you're on tour with the intimacy of a tour and just being with these friends that you've known, some for 4 years, and the daily ritual of bunking with these folks and eating with them and trying to get everybody to the right place at the right time to sing. And it's very intimate. With friends who've shaped you, who've made you a better person than you would have been on your own. With friends with whom you've made some of the poorest choices that, that you just pray that ABC never learns of. And so it's that juxtaposition of the grandness of it and the intimacy of it that I think is really Drake Choir, because it requires individual responsibility when you're in a choir like the Drake Choir, but it also requires a commitment and responsibility to the group. And it produces something bigger than you, but it does so in such a small space of trust. Trust to be open to greatness, trust to be open to humility and to awe and to joy. And it is that contrast of the intimate space and trusting one another and then being able to produce something amazing. That is what Dr. ABC instills in us, I think, in Drake Choir, and that's what I've taken with me throughout my life. And that is why I'm here tonight, so I can have another moment like that. Thank you, Dr. Beckman Collier.
Well, I don't have note cards, so I hope I can be half as eloquent as you just were. Again, my name's Eric Lane. I was a member of the class, technically the class of 04, but due to some poor planning, I wound up taking an extra semester, and I was very lucky to have a 9th semester of Drake Choir, so I ended up graduating in 05. I wanted to talk about just the whole concept of the European tour in and of itself and what it meant to me. As Amy, it's going to take a little getting used to on that one. As Amy said, I went to New York right after I graduated college. What she failed to mention is that I was a bartender for 7 years before having the courage to actually go back to law school. So I came home, and I was talking with my dad the other night. And I told him I was going to have the opportunity to speak. And he said, well, what are you going to say? Or what are you supposed to talk about? I said, well, the meaning of the tour. And he's like, immediately said to me, he said, well, if it wasn't for Drake Choir, there's no way you'd be in New York right now. And I kind of just took a step back and thought about the truth of that, the truthfulness of that statement. And the more I thought about it, the more I agree with it, 100%. Growing up, I grew up on a small farm outside of Newton. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. A lot of the family vacations were just staying around the Midwest, doing stuff in Iowa and here, there. I was the first person in my family to have a passport. I didn't see the ocean until I was 19, and that was only because my mother moved to Florida. And so having this opportunity was incredible for me at the time. And going abroad and having the experiences that I did, seeing the cultures, Amy was saying earlier, being a part of something larger. And just experiencing those things firsthand for the first time ignited something in me that has carried just stuck with me ever since. Since moving to New York, I've been to Cuba. I've been to Puerto Rico. I've been to Mexico a number of times. I had the courage to go to Zanzibar and study the legal side of human trafficking for 3 weeks before I started my legal career. I don't know if any of that would have ever happened but for the European tour. It opened my eyes to a world that I had never been able to experience. I envy the students who have this opportunity coming up. I encourage you to seize every minute of it. And while it's tempting, if I may give a little unsolicited advice, while it's tempting to note the differences amongst the cultures, thinking back, I think that even now, more than ever, it's more important and true to recognize the things that unite us are far greater than those that divide us. And what better way to experience that than singing music and being together with a group of wonderful students. And I really just wish you the best of luck and enjoy.
Thank you for the chance to get to speak briefly. Like Avi said, my name is Kaylee Custer. When I was here, I was studying international relations and music. And so I kind of want to frame my remarks tonight with a question that I get asked all the time, which is like, so you're not using either one of those things as a teacher now? Which I really think could not be farther from the truth. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how I believe doing music, and especially choral music, at the level that Dr. ABC pushes students to, how that prepares you to be a better person, to be a better professional. And I think that is because choral music, more than any other endeavor that I've been a part of or that I really know of, requires individuals to both perfect with exacting precision an individual part, but yet step into a group and kind of step back from that individual part and be willing to alter that part, adjust that part in service of the ensemble and the collective sound that the ensemble is making. It requires a precision focus and a kind of wide angle lens, and I think that that only happens when an ensemble is taken to the highest levels, when they're pushed to international tours, when they're given the opportunity to sing an enormous range of music in some of the most beautiful venues on the planet. And that's an opportunity that she's created here. And so I know personally that has made me a better human being. It's made me a more capable professional. And it's really because I studied music and I studied choral music here with you. And then the second thing I want to talk about is why I chose to come back. So of the 135 people who trekked back here for the weekend, really to rehearse for one afternoon, sing 2 songs and go home, besides the alluring chance to wear my formal wear again, I was trying to think of a way to describe what it feels like to sing with people that you have such a deep relationship with. And I thought about it. Sometimes it's such an ineffable thing. You can't find words to describe it. What I finally settled on was that since choral music and since singing, the body is the instrument, it's really an extremely personal thing. Like, when I sing, it comes out of me. And so when I sing with you, physically, like, we are together, our bodies and our personhood are together. And when you sing, and especially when you sing in a circle and you look at the people that you sing with, it feels as though as you are singing out, you are receiving them singing into you. And I think specifically of when we were coming back from regional tour and our bus got snowed in at Evan Stewart's church because they shut the interstate down. And the Drake Choir slept on the floor and in the pews of this church, which was cold. The heat was turned off. So it was hard to sleep. And so instead we sang, and we sang in a circle. And I've never felt quite like that until I watched the Drake Choir sing in St. Louis after I had graduated. and I looked up and I made eye contact with a lot of the same people I made eye contact with here tonight, and I felt the same feeling, and so that is why I'm here tonight. And I thank you for your support of the program. It's a tremendous opportunity for past students and present students.
So as Dr. ABC said, my name is Corey Clausen, and it's been a pretty amazing day around here. We came into this sanctuary that is Sheslow, and we had a day talking about the ties that bind the chorus, Dr. ABC, and the European tour. And it was a very proud day to be a part of the choir, and a proud day to be a Drake alumni. Because as everyone here said, and we heard a lot today, is this chorus and the European tour have made all of us better people. And not just better people for ourselves. I'm gonna become a better person for me. I become a better person for my community. And we have to thank you all for the support that you've given to the chorus tonight and throughout the years to make that happen. Because when we go out in the world and we know how to listen better, and we know how to communicate better, and we know how to be, have more empathy and know how to reach across cultural divides, that makes us, you know, we make the world a better place. And I'd just like to thank you all for doing that. One thing ABC did say today, which I thought was really interesting, I'd forgotten about, was you reminded us that all of the political debates have been held in Sheslow over the last couple months. And I'm a political junkie, I work in DC. So it's like, that's amazing. A, how could all the egos fit into this room? And all the hair, I don't know, it's a lot of hairspray. But secondly, I thought, wow, ABC, if they're coming into Sheslow, that's ABC's territory. And if anyone can bring order to the chaos of American politics, it's ABC. I thought, yes. Some very simple lessons could make American politics better. Number one, chorus teaches you that you listen. If you listen, you make, you know, everything's better. Two, we learn that if walls don't don't make us better. They don't bring harmony. And three, you have to know, I forgot my third point, I'm looking at ABC, but the larger point was, tomorrow I have to go back to DC. And I love DC, but there's a lot of noise and there's a lot of cacophony. And 2016 is gonna be a crazy year. And it reminded me of a story that happened in Europe. I don't know, is Ruth Harris here by any chance? There's this brilliant former accompanist for the chorus and this brilliant musician, Ruth Harris. We'd gone to Dachau, and for a group of college students to go to a concentration camp is a very powerful, powerful thing. And we got out of the camp, moved onto the bus. We couldn't speak. It's that powerful. And our tour guide, I remember, had wanted to process with us. And we just couldn't do it. And Ruth spoke up, and she said, please don't. If musicians understand one thing, it's the power of silence. And that there is no, music is not only sound, it's also silence. And the same thing about politics. You have to know when to talk, and you have to know when to be quiet. And when there are no more words, there's music. Thank you.
Drake alumni are rather impressive, aren't they? It's a privilege to be with these people. Before the combined choruses of the present Drake Choir and the alums representing years, graduation years from the early 90s to 2015 take their places to sing two songs for you, I just want to situate those in your mind. Very long ago, I taught at a school that had a faculty member who said, life has dignity life has continuity. And I never forgot those words. I wrote them on my heart. And I've said them to students a million times. I say lots of things to them a million times, and I'm sure they think, oh, there's ABC going off again. But to me, choral music represents the meaning of those words. And so it is a real privilege to help young people find a way through the beginning stages of their adult lives and help them to understand the idea of music as representing what is most noble about the human spirit, and understanding that it's in our connections, in our sense of community that we build here, that we can truly experience life lived well and make a difference to other people. I spend a lot of time talking to students about standing on the shoulders of people who have come before them. We read the emails from alums frequently. I relate the telephone conversations I have with our alums. And in fact, we actually have a ritual in which they literally, as they come into the Drake Choir, stand in the place of the students who have just left. And so this connection of people gathered in the name of beauty and truth and goodness has brought us to this day. I kept thinking this afternoon, look what love and music have done. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. They're going to sing two pieces for you. The first is called Os Justi Meditabitur Sapientiam. It's a psalm text, and it means the mouth of the just one speaks of wisdom. His tongue utters what is right. The law of his God is in his heart, and his steps do not falter. It was set by the great 19th century composer Anton Bruckner, who wrote big, big pieces of music and also small choral works. And this piece and Shenandoah, which is a wonderful arrangement of a folk song, I chose when I started preparing for the first tour in 1992 because they meant something to me. When I was 19 years old, I was a student at St. Mary's College, and the Notre Dame and St. Mary's Collegiate Choir went to Europe. I had never traveled abroad. That's the first time I thought about getting a passport. And somebody who became my mentor and who believed in me and a lot of other students thought that this was an important thing to do. Indeed it was, and it changed my life. And I swore that if I ever became a college professor, that I would try to make that opportunity for other students. And when it came time to choose the music for that first tour, I thought, well, I want to do Os Justi, because I remember how it sounded in amazing places. And I remember how I felt when I sang that piece, and it was really important. And Shenandoah was the same way. Those are two very different pieces. But they resonated in the hearts of people in many parts of the world, and they resonated with my colleagues and me. So I thought they might be meaningful to other people too. And it amazes me that I just went to my 40th class reunion last spring. I am so old. And I realized that somebody as old as I was able to find great music that still resonates in people's hearts. These two pieces are very meaningful to all of our alums and to our present students, and we hope they will be meaningful to you. So they're going to gather now to sing these two pieces for you, and following the concert, we hope that you will come to Levitt Hall so that we can meet and greet one another.